Hello, everyone. I'm Bo from Brutal Commentary, and today I'm going to be breaking down on our next matchup for UFC Vegas 112 and what I believe is the sleeper of the card, or the fight I think has the most potential to be fight of the night that some people might not pick. Now, obviously, this is a great fight, period, and I know a lot of people are excited for this, but I do think this is the sleeper of the card. We have Morgan Charrière taking on Melquizael Costa. This is a matchup built on contrast in rhythm, intention, and style. Charrière is a smooth, patient, pressure-friendly striker who blends fluid footwork with a well-rounded game. He is composed, deliberate, and thrives in fights where he can gradually build reads and momentum. Costa, by contrast, is dynamic, light on his feet, unpredictable in his entries, and consistently shifting between striking and grappling threats. And he brings a level of athletic versatility that aims to disrupt patterns before they form. Attention of the matchup lies whether Charrière can slow Costa's down enough to settle into his rhythm, or whether Costa's movement, range control, and transitional grappling can keep Charrière from ever getting comfortable. It's a fight that rewards whoever can dictate the pace, not just by speed or pressure, but by shaping the space in between exchanges. So let's break down, without further ado, let's break down their styles. But like I said, this is my sleeper of the card. And honestly, besides the main event, this might be my favorite fight on the card. So starting with Morgan Charrière. He has a style that feels very smooth and deceptively patient. He's not someone who forces chaos as much as create openings through rhythm, timing, and a steady understanding of distance. His jab is very clean. His body work is beautiful. I mean, you think of the body kick he landed on. Who was it? There we go. Malone Zeshinin. I apologize if I pronounced that terribly. But in Charrière's debut, that body kick he landed, it was a beauty to watch. I still think about it sometimes just because I think that body kick was absolutely beautiful. And his ability to glide forward or backwards gives him options in every exchange. I would say Charrière's striking works best when he gets opponents to engage on a very predictable beat. Like, he'll use feints, stance adjustments, and jab variations to draw reactions. You kind of saw that with Nate Landwehr, where he used the calf kicks to make Landwehr kind of look like he was stuck in the mud and could only really throw from the when Landwehr was planted, not so much when Landwehr was coming forward, mostly due to the damage via the calf kicks, is the name one. Or how he was able to get up from the grappling of Gabriel Ubina. And then when Gabriel made the mistake of turning his back, then turning forward, that's when Charrière caught him with a punch just outside of his vision. And so I think Charrière is pretty good at drawing reactions, then countering or pressure behind him. And I think Charrière's durability and composure allows him to stay calm, even when exchanges get messy, or over the course of a fight. He often builds momentum by simply reading patterns more clearly than his opponents. His grappling is also competent. Charrière can scramble, defend clinches, and work from defensive positions when needed. He was doing pretty well in handling the grappling of Chepe Mariscal. Not enough to beat him, but I thought it was pretty impressive him holding his own against Chepe. But his grappling is not the backbone of his game. You saw that like when Nathaniel Wood was able to out-grapple him in many exchanges in their fight. But his his grappling is more of a supplement and a tool to secure position or escape bad ones, rather than something he actively builds offense around. I'd say Charrière is at his best when he can turn the fight into a measured striking battle where he can control the tempo. Obviously, that doesn't always work for him, as Nathaniel Wood was able to where Nathaniel Wood was able to beat him in his own technical striking match, but Wood, I think, was also a superior athlete and also a much more intelligent fighter. And great, you look at Charrière's losses in the UFC, it's to Chepe Mariscal and Nathaniel Wood, two fighters with top 15 level potential. In fact, I think Wood should be fighting Dan Ige for a top 15 spot, and Chepe was scheduled to fight Dan Ige for a top 15 spot. So it's not bad competition whatsoever. Now, looking at Costa's, Costa does bring a very different style to the cage. His style is based on movement, versatility, and unpredictability. Costa thrives on staying dynamic, working long body kicks, fast jab variations, and sharp counters and level change fades that keep opponents wary of both the shot and the strike. Costa's footwork is one of his defining traits. He rarely stays in the same lane for long. He's very good at angling out, circles wide, or darts forward with sudden burst. And his constant shifting makes him very difficult to time. And Costa's opponents often struggle to find consistent engagement in points, which is exactly what Costa wants. I say Costa's grappling is a legit threat as well. He's not a grinding wrestler, but an opportunistic one. He can shoot when opponents overextend, he clinches off their missing strikes, and he uses his length well in transitional moments. And once he gets the fight to the mat, his top control is composed, and his back-taking ability is very sharp. I mean, you look at the last 2 wins he has of his 4-fight win streak, the submission over Shael Nordin-Bekaev when he got out wrestled in most of that fight, was able to transition with Cheyenne and eventually get the face crank. Or against Andre Philly, who went for the takedown and Costa was able to secure the guillotine from the bottom and eventually got full guard into that. And you look at Costa's record, right? He lost to Thiago Moises on short notice up a weight class. And since then, he has looked great at featherweight. Currently on a 4-fight win streak, beating Julian Erosa, Christian Rodriguez, Andre Philly, and Norin Bekaev. His only loss is to Steve Rodriguez, which has aged like fine wine. So Costa, I think, is also a legit threat at featherweight. Honestly, I wouldn't lie. Whoever wins this fight, I feel like probably needs, maybe in the case of Charrière, I think maybe one more win before he fights a top 15 fighter. In the case of Costa, I think if he wins this is 5 in a row, and I think he should get a top 15 opponent. But either way, I think Costa's greatest strength is his ability to blend phases together. He doesn't really give opponents a single layer to solve. He gives them several, switching between them at a pace that discourages stability. So the way I see this fight is, I think it centers on this fight. I think the center of this fight is rhythm. Charrière wants a stable rhythm, a pace where he can walk Costa down, jab consistently, and forces engagements that he can read and counter. Costa wants the opposite. Movement, broken timing, irregular exchanges, and the kind of tempo that never allows Charrière to fully get comfortable. Think of the war. I think of like the kind of war that Costa and Julian Rosa had, where they're just going after each other, just throwing all sorts of different strikes from elbows, knees, kicks, punches, something like that. Not so much a technical kickboxing fight as much as a brawl with good technique. So at range, I think Costa has the advantage in footwork and variety. His kicks, his lateral movement, and his long straight shots give him early tools to disrupt Charrière's attempt to build pressure. And Charrière can absolutely land counters if Costa enters too linearly. But Costa's tendency to angle off rather than retreat straight back limits those opportunities. Now in the pocket, I think Charrière is sharper, his shot selection is tighter, and his ability to stay composed in close exchanges gives him a slight edge. But Costa doesn't need to hang in the pocket. He enters, scores, and exits before predictable patterns can form. Grappling becomes an interesting layer, because Charrière is defensively competent and a very good explosive athlete, but Costa is more offensively threatening in transition. He doesn't need a dominant wrestling sequence. He just needs a moment where Charrière is off balance or reacts slowly, which he can turn into scrambles that steal time and break rhythm or catch a submission. And so this fight becomes about who can impose their version of order: Charrière's step-by-step pressure or Costa's dynamic unpredictability. So my prediction, I think the fight stretches across minutes, and moments begin leaning towards the fighter who can manipulate range and rhythm more consistently. Charrière will have pockets of success and moments where he cuts the cage off, lands clean body shots, or forces Costa into exchanges that favor his Charrière's timing. But Costa's movement, footwork, and ability to blend striking when transitional grappling make it difficult for Charrière to build the kind of stable pace he relies on. I think Costa's consistency in staying off the center line angling off of danger and scoring from long range, especially with those kicks, will gradually accumulate small advantages. The jab, the circle rhythm, keeps Charrière resetting, and every attempt and Charrière's attempts to build up a pressure is met with another lateral movement or a reactive grappling threat. So I think the longer this fight remains dynamic, the more Costa's athleticism and versatility come into play. His cardio supports his movement style well, and as the fight becomes more about adjusting or to shifting angles than controlling lateral pressure, I think Charrière begins losing the window of opportunity. So my official prediction, I'm gonna go with Melquizael Costa. I think he is gonna use good movement, good variation of attacks, and smart transitional grappling to prevent Charrière from ever settling into the pace he needs. And thus, I think Costa can win a decision on this one. Could he submit Charrière? Sure, he's got good jiu-jitsu, but Charrière has yet to be finished in the UFC in his losses, and Charrière is a very tough, durable fighter, whether that be on the feet or on the ground. So I think Costa is going to win a very fun striking or a very fun MMA battle, because I see a lot of facets in this fight where the striking is competitive, very good technique. The grappling is competitive, but I think I lean towards Costa as a better grappler. And overall, it's just going to be a great MMA fight. So once again, my official prediction, I'm going with Melquizael Costa, and I'm going with him via decision in this fight. But that being said, that's been my breakdown of this matchup. If you liked the video, like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below on who you think is going to win. But until then, I've been Bo from Brutal Commentary. Stay calm, stay respectful, and enjoy the violence. I'll see you all next time.